Yeah, I believe in you. I don't believe in lucky sevens. I'm not sure about Loch Ness, but I know I believe in angels. I believe in happiness.
Well, hello, and good evening, everybody. All right, can you please sound off, say hello, ask some questions during the show? We'd love to hear from you, love to see you up there watching us. We're also on YouTube under the Caffeinated Cooper Show. Find us there. You can watch all the older shows, you can watch all the news shows and the live shows. I am noticing that I'm not sure that we're broadcasting on Facebook. So if we are, please give us a thumbs up or wave hello. I hope everybody's out there enjoying their summer. You know, isn't summer such a nice time? You get to see some of the kids outside playing. You see the young drivers out there trying to navigate the road. It's sunny and warm and happy. And I want to make sure that we always make the point to smile, make eye contact and smile to one another. I think that is so important, that a smile is contagious. Just like a grimace or someone throwing a temper tantrum or the negative, how it can change the entire environment of a room or a surrounding area, so can a smile. And just something so simple and kind and warm as some eye contact and a smile can really make someone's day. So, just a little tip. I think it would be really nice if people stop, slow down a little bit, and make sure that we're being kind to one another. And speaking of kindness, I have one of the most kind people in the music industry with me tonight, and I'm so excited. We have Jodie Leslie. And Jodie, I have a really wonderful bio here that I'm going to read to you, and it just touched my heart because it gives you such a picture of how small she may be in size, but how thunderous she is in the music industry. Jodie Leslie, a 5-foot farm-raised gal, has taken those hard-working farm values and put them into her passion for music. She's no stranger to the stage. She has performed for the Prime Minister of Canada, the Premier of Alberta, and she has shared the stage with Ben and Noel Haggard, Bryan Adams, George Canyon, Michelle Wright, Grand Ole Opry's Bill Anderson, and many, many more. Jodie has performed at the BlueBird Cafe in Nashville and at the Grey Cup, as well as toured Canada and Europe. Jodie was honored to receive a personal shout out from Micheal Sweet. I love him. Of the iconic metal band Stryper. Her new singles, Tell God and Give God the Glory, were recorded in Nashville with renowned producer Sal Oliveri. Small in stature but large in talent, the diversity and acceptance of Jodie Leslie's music seems to point to the fact that fans both young and old, mainstream and country, gravitate to the positive messages in her work. And without any further ado, Miss Jodie Leslie. How are you this evening, Jodie?
Hey, Elizabeth. Hey, everyone. I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome. It's wonderful to see you here in person. I've heard so much about you, especially through some of my friends in Nashville. And, before we get into all the wonderful things that you have going on and your music releases, I always love to sort of get a glimpse of what inspired you to begin. Where did your singing career and your music career begin?
Well, first of all, I got to say, I've heard so much about you too. All good, amazing stuff. You're a woman of many talents. But yeah, and we're both into music. Music started for me, the love of it. I mean, my mom was always singing. My papa was singing, and my sister and I, we used to sing in the car. I think my mom had us singing in church by the time we were 3. Um, of course, I didn't sing. I just kind of stood there stunned, and my sister sang it all. So we've been singing, since a young age. And my mom decided she wanted to put me into singing lessons when I was a teenager, which I really didn't want to do.
Mhm.
And she said, give it a try for a year. Just try it for a year. So I did. And I ended up just having a wonderful relationship with my vocal coach. She really didn't push me too hard because I was in that teenage phase. And I was thankful for that. So she helped develop that love of music without it being forced. And then, the desire to sing with a live band formed. And ironically, like, I was kind of debating between horses and music, and horses won the deal. And so I took like an equine science program, and I was in Europe riding horses. And that's when, when you do, sometimes when you do your love too much, it starts being work. And so then I started thinking about music a lot more because I wasn't sure I could make a living riding 10 horses a day and enjoy it, keep enjoying it. So that's when I came home back to Canada, I decided to get with a band and start singing. And that's how the ball got rolling.
Oh, wow. Well, horses are such beautiful creatures. I recently was on a property where they had 20 horses, and these were all beautiful creatures. Do you still work with the horses today?
I do. Yeah. I will usually get like right now, because I'm so busy, I just have one horse.
Yeah.
And she's a 3-year-old, so I'm starting her. And then next year I'll show her. But yeah, my dad used to say, if boys were smart, they'd be riding horses because that's where all the girls are.
That's right. Oh my goodness, that's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Um, with your love of nature and horses, I have to ask, have you ever written a song um, that sort of includes that other love, that other side of you into it?
I think I have written a few, but I don't think that I've ever recorded any of them.
Okay.
As I'm riding along, I might catch myself humming a tune or coming up with something creative. And there's so many little good nuggets that don't make it to the recording studio. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm not sure how many people would want me to hear me singing about my horse. But there's a few in the vault.
So, we were talking in the green room for a second, and you had mentioned that the 2 songs that we are going to be talking about tonight, they were in your bio, and it's Tell God and Give God the Glory. They're obviously Christian songs, but you had mentioned that you're not exclusive to the Christian genre. Is that correct?
That's correct. I'm actually brand new to it. I just really felt like the arena that I was supposed to be in is just music. And so I started out in hard rock. And that's when we did shows with Bryan Adams and stuff like that. It was sort of before Evanescence began, but it was very much like that type of vibe. And then there was more opportunities in country. So I moved into country, and that's where I've been, rooted and planted, is in the regular music industry. And with every album, I've done 4 albums. With every album, I will do like an inspirational song on there. And I love that because there's that side of me that just, I love God. And he's not exclusive either. He loves everybody. And so, yeah, these last 2 tunes, I just decided I wanted to do something that someone else had written and do kind of some gospel inspirational. And so these 2, I had no hand in writing, and I think they're really good. I don't have a problem doing other people's songs, and it's really opened a door. to meeting some great people, meeting you, for example. It's just been a bunny trail from doing these songs from other great writers in Nashville and working with Sal Livery. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I love singing about God. I love singing about all different kinds of things that go on in life. I think music is healing, and it can just be an avenue for, it can be a counseling avenue, an avenue for wisdom, an avenue for healing. So
Sure. I mean, how many songs have we listened to over the years that, they make you laugh, or they give you energy, or they make you cry? And
yeah.
that's one thing that I'm so fascinated with professional vocalists, is that there's something called that head voice and then there's emoting the true essence and the true feeling. And I guess, I can look at it from the actor's realm, where, there's so much emotion and you're really in that false environment, right? But everything has to be so real. So when you're not writing your music and it's a song that touches you, it's a song that piques your interest, so you're going to, use those vocals, how do you attach the emotion to it?
When it's not my song, when it's written by someone else,
Correct.
I'm just an emotional person. I just emote. I have to try not to emote. I don't know. Yeah, it is kind of like acting in that, isn't it? Because you're telling a story,
Mhm.
and I think being empathetic helps with that, because I feel like I'm somewhat of an empath.
Mhm.
So if I were singing someone else's story, I could easily put myself in their shoes.
And so I've also seen, singers out there and they're visibly crying, but yet their voice is so perfect. They don't break at all. Have you ever had that experience? And how do you keep where you're supposed to be with your voice when you're
I,
so deeply in that emotion?
I can't do that. Like when I cry and the mucus starts running down my throat and I can't sing. I don't know how people do that. I think I've only had that happen once, and it just felt like a gift. Um, to be able to feel and cry for somebody else and still sing through the song. I think it literally have only had it happen once. So I think it's a real special gift from above when that happens. But I will say, um, there have been times where I've just been like barely getting through it, and I've held it together. I get off stage and that's when I feel it.
Mm.
And I fall apart. But I feel like when you're on stage, like it's really your job to let other people feel it, you know? And so sacrifice that for a good performance so that other people can feel it.
Yeah,
I don't
so
know.
true.
That's kind of what I think.
All right, so you had mentioned that someone else wrote this song. Was it both of them? Tell God and Give God the Glory. They were both written by other people?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and that's how we met,
Mhm,
through Justin Peters.
mhm.
So I was looking for some songs with Sal, the producer, and we had been through quite a few, but they just weren't quite what I was looking for. And then one morning he sent me this song. And like most great moments, I was in the throne room. By that, I mean the bathroom. And it was just like a work tape, and there was crickets. And it was the only time that Justin Peters had gotten together with Rebecca Lynn Howard and Rachel Thibodeau. And it was just crickets and them singing. And Justin Peters, I don't know, for those of you who don't know him, he's written for Amy Grant. He wrote Justin Bieber's first song, Waves of Mercy. Um, and he's written with you, Elizabeth. And so he has some great songs. And he comes from a family of great songwriters. So that was how we got connected. And that song was like magic to me, because wherever we are, we can just talk to God. We really can. We can lay our heart before him and, express what we're going through. And he's walking it there with us.
Mhm.
He's feeling us. And if that's a part of your life, you ought to share how great that opportunity is with other people, right? So
Right.
that's how God came about.
Well, I would love to play a couple of seconds, maybe 30 seconds or so. And I've picked the spot of 22 seconds right in the Tell God song because your voice is just so beautiful. So I want, live on air, I want to pay you such a compliment of how you used your voice in the song. And if everyone would like to take a listen, um, I'm going to share this song with the world here so that they can all hear. Tell God, you're very welcome. And I got to ask, were you blonde? Because I see on the cover here, your hair is blonde.
I don't know what's happening. I've been so many things. I just
too.
want to try them all.
Me too. Isn't it? It's wonderful being a girl, I think, but everybody can do it. So it's not exclusive,
Yeah.
to just girls. But we wear our hair short, we wear it long. I was red for years, and now I'm trying to go back to my my natural hair is very, very, very dark brown. And
Oh, really?
yes, the craziest thing is that we've been
Oh,
coloring it, and I have a wonderful colorist. I've been with her for 15 years. And we've gone dark. The darker we go, the more red it gets. So it's like, no, we're not doing that. But you just look absolutely stunning in this. So that's what I'm rambling about at the moment, is that you just look absolutely stunning here. All right, this is Tell God by Jodie Leslie.
To you is their shoulder worth leaning on when the going gets tough. I'll be gone if you need a good friend to listen. Yeah, I know just the one. Tell him all about it. He's got a lot to say. While you're lost in doubt, he'll figure out how to make a way. You won't regret it. Can't hurt to pray 24/7 straight up to heaven. Call any time of day. So hey, what are you waiting for? When
Beautiful. Oh,
thank
beautiful.
you so
That song really must have made an impact, because you just listening to the words that you're saying there, they're so true. And it's, all the weight that we carry on our shoulders, we can just tell God.
Yeah, he's a friend that sticks closer than a brother,
Mhm.
and
Sorry.
yeah. Yeah, no, I just that song does mean a lot, and you should have heard the songwriters sing it. It's
Really?
really, really good. Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right. So I know that you were working with Saul, but how does someone connect with the artist when they say, "Oh, you know what? I've written a song that I think Jodie's just going to love." How do they get it to you?
Well, they can just reach out through my website. Um,
Interesting.
the funny thing is, like, I started writing. I mean, I did start writing for like healing purposes to, sing through things. My parents divorced. I started writing about whatever when I was younger, but
Mm.
I would have really liked to take professional songs right from the beginning,
Mm.
but I couldn't. At that point, I couldn't promise publishers that I would move enough units. So I just started writing them myself. So it's been really actually quite a journey to actually, as an artist, get writers, that I can do their song. Things have changed. Like, it's like the Wild West now. Everything's so reversed
Yeah.
in the music industry. But it was through working with Sal Delivery. We were out west in Alberta, and we moved to Ontario for business purposes. It's closer to Nashville. And I just saw that Sal put a post out. He's produced Pink, he's produced Chris Stapleton, but he put a post on Facebook, and I've been following for years. he just put a post about why he works with indie artists, smaller artists, and that he will find songs for them, based on their voice and stuff like that. He's got the connections that I didn't have. And when I saw that, I didn't realize he worked with smaller artists. So I reached out to him, and he's really been very helpful in that. I don't think I would have gotten this opportunity if I didn't work with Sal. And we literally, we had just moved here. I unboxed some paper to print off the contract, the artist producer contract to start working with him. All I had was lined notepad paper. I couldn't even find my computer paper. I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry. I just want to work with you, but this is on a crappy notepad piece of paper. Will this do? He's like, yeah, whatever. Literally nothing was unboxed. I moved here. I saw the post, and I'm like, please, can I come down and work with you? So I have Sal to thank for all of the doorways that opened, through Justin, and then the other song, Give God the Glory, Corey Lee Barker, Justine Blazer, Stephanie Ravis, who they're all amazing singers too. So.
And tell me a little bit about Give God the Glory. So Tell God is what we were just listening to. How did the two songs differ? Because just from a song title, they sound very similar.
Yeah, they do. Isn't that weird? They're very different. And feel free to play it if you want. It's kind of like a darker, minor sounding, rocky notes that kind of gives a nod back to the 80s screamo rock.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to search.
There's a few of those. Towards the end of the song, there's a few of those. And it actually, I hope it's okay that I tell this story, but those writers had actually written another song, which I loved, but the lyrics didn't quite fit my journey. And so I had reached out to him and said how much I liked the song and was wondering if they could, tweak the lyrics a bit. But the song was already registered, and so that wasn't going to work. And I was going through a lot of songs with Sal, and just, you got to find the right fit, right? So it was a couple months later, I revisited that with the writers, and I just said, I love your song. I love the music, but I'm wondering if you would consider rewriting the lyrics from like a standpoint of, someone who's walking a spiritual road and has had, the bumps and has made the changes and, and so they did rewrite it. And I was very grateful, because I think that's a lot of paperwork on their end to change things and to let me do that song in a different manner. And I'm just so grateful for that song. And it's really moved me, that song, being able to sing it. It's at the bottom of my range, the very top of my range. And when I hear it, I still cry, because Sal's production is amazing. And those writers did a great job writing that song.
Wow. And is that different from Give God the Glory? Is that a different song?
That's Give God the Glory. Yeah.
It is Give God the Glory. Okay, great. I do have it queued up. Let's take a listen here.
Cool.
There's commercials. Oh, what happened? Oh, sorry. Wow. Wow. That I love that. Oh my gosh, you're right. They're so different. There's a lot of that edginess, like you had mentioned in that one. Oh, I love it. There's something happening here with country music and how country music has really gone towards that country rock. And
Yeah.
I gotta say that's where my lane is. I'm really digging
Oh,
that
me
country
too, girl.
rock.
Yeah, me too. Like I've never heard you sing, but I would like to someday. But I don't know about you, but like I could never get my voice to not sound 80s because it has this rasp in it.
Mhm.
And so I've always had people say, "Oh, it sounds like an 80s voice." Well, now country music is kind of like a marriage between country and rock and a little bit of an 80s vibe. I don't know if you've noticed that, but I mean, not always, but it's there. It's there. And it's like, great. That's where I fit.
Very much so. I mean, especially, with the majority of the female artists that are in that country rock, and they've released some albums, let's say in the past 2 years. Very much so. There is
Yeah.
that feel of the '80s and country and rock and this great fusion that's happening. And now, I mean, I remember the '80s, but it's been kind of a minute. So now it's fresh again. Like, everybody's digging it because, the ones that don't remember the '80s, they're like, "Oh, I really like this. It's different." And I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
let's go back."
Yeah, well, my husband's given me quite a bit of an education on the 80s music. And so I do love it. And then I just dig the 70s. Like I wish that I was born in the 70s. I think I'm just a total hippie. A
Really.
hippie's voice, maybe.
So, who are some of your artists that either you've worked with or you haven't worked with that you really studied? You were just infatuated with before your teens when you started taking vocal lessons and things like that. What's within your fiber?
It's mostly male artists. Um, and I don't know why that is. But I just love male songs and but then I do remember when I first heard Mariah Carey, and she actually really, just to get into a weird, geeky, technological standpoint as vocalist, she really helped me understand how to create a fluidity between my chest voice and my head voice with a mixed tone. How to get those, not belty, but like, kind of a belty upper range. So listening to her really taught me a lot. And now I love Carrie Underwood. I love all those people. But um, I gotta say, there was a lot of like, for female artists, it was Aretha Franklin, it was Amy Grant, there was Melissa Etheridge, Bonnie Raitt, Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston,
Mhm.
um, Gwen Stefani, just really studying all the different voices. But if I do a live show, I'm going to cover all of those great male artists that I love so much. Brian Adams. I mean, I love Micheal Sweet from Stryper. If y'all don't know who he is, you need to listen to his voice. It's incredible.
Mhm.
Um, and I like some, weird bands like The Darkness. They're a British, really cool rock band. And I like all the things. If I find a vocalist that's like really cool, like I have no judgment. I wanna learn what they're doing. I want to figure it out. Music is art.
Mhm. It absolutely is, and it's so different from person to person to person. I believe that you could give, 4 artists in different genres the same song, and it's like a brand new piece of art from each one of them. And
Yeah.
I know that you have donned the stage many times, and I was reading where you've toured through Canada, you've toured through Europe, and are you beginning to break into the US, or where are you right now as far as people being able to go out and see you in the United States?
Well, thankfully, I've signed with a Nashville publisher, Justin Peters' company. So that was another perk of doing someone else's song. So I'm working a lot as a songwriter right now. And we're promoting, right now we're in promotion more than we are live shows, I'll be honest with you. There's just a lot of hats you got to put on. So we're promoting the radio promotion in Canada and in Europe. And it is hard to break into the US, I'll be honest with you. That's why I'm really grateful to get to meet you. And as for shows, we're talking with agents and stuff. That would have to be a thing where you get a long list of shows you can do, and then you get your working visa, or else you do them all for free as a Canadian, you know? So I'm hopeful. But you know, networking is everything, isn't it? And that's a realistic part of the music industry.
Absolutely. Yes. Network is everything. Wow. I didn't even think about that you need a work visa to be able to perform in the United States. How did that work from being Canadian in Canada, obviously, and then touring in Europe? Is it different in Europe to be able to go and perform and be paid?
There are working visas that you can get for Europe.
Mhm.
And then a lot of shows are great to do just for promotion,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
And so there are some that if you don't have your visa lined up, you're going to do them for free.
Wow. Wow. So
Yeah.
interesting that this is an avenue that I didn't even think about.
And it's not a very romantic avenue, so we should probably go back onto the fantasy avenue. How glorious music is.
I know. Wow. Man, there are so many different things that go into being in the arts, of the training and your commitment and your dedication and staying accountable. And then you have that added piece of you're in one location and you want to be able to move all over. And the internet has been able to connect so many people, so many musical artists that are great artists today. They were found on YouTube, you know,
Yes.
and they were from all over the place. I mean, you had mentioned Justin Bieber. So he was also in Canada and he was found basically as a child on YouTube. Have you used the internet to, especially during the pandemic, did you do any type of concerts or anything like that? Concerts from home, as a lot of the artists did.
I did a lot of you know, back in Alberta, we had our basement was the band rehearsal space. So we just put the lights up and did some shows from there. And that was really cool. You know, we did some writing with people over Zoom and all that kind of thing. And then for shows, it depended on, you know, what the regulations were because they changed from time to time. But at one point, we were able to get a nice big outdoor tent and do some distancing. And I did a show with Gord Bamford and Sweet Tequila. So that was cool.
Very nice. Is there anything that, you know, started then? Now it's several years ago for me. I know in different parts of the world, it continued on for much longer than it did here for us in the southeast of the United States. But is there anything that was done then that you still do today, where you're like, you know what, that was actually kind of good. I think we'll keep doing this or that.
Let's see. Like as far as washing my hands more.
No. I mean, anything that maybe getting out there on the internet and entertaining fans, or just Zoom meetings, connecting with people that you didn't connect with before, because we could just, you know, Zoom. And yeah, I know I did that a lot, where people are in Los Angeles, and the year before that, it was like my butt has to be on a plane to fly from Atlanta to Los Angeles. Like nobody was thinking about Zoom.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden things became easier. And it seems like that's crossed over many different platforms of work environments of many different genres, not just the entertainment industry, where people are continuing to connect that way. Is there
Yeah,
anything like
it's
that?
really true. Yeah, and you're right. I never thought about that. You ask really good questions, Elizabeth. I Zoom a lot more and I do a lot more writing by Zoom. And in fact, I have met some great friends Zooming, and like we haven't even met in person now. And they're some of my closest friends, which is strange, how technology changes things. But, when we couldn't sing live, um, I just started doing voice lessons for people around the world. And I just thought this is a great way to connect with people. I miss performing. Let me try this. And I had students in Mexico, San Francisco, Europe, like farthest east of Canada, Prince Edward Island, BC, and it was great. Got to meet people, and a lot of them I stay in touch with now, and we just chit chat and we could talk for hours on the Zoom, the Google Meets and stuff. So yeah, it has changed life a lot.
That's that's amazing. I mean, to think about it for vocal lessons, I mean, it would be very hard for many people to connect with you face to face to do vocal lessons. Are you still doing the vocal lessons, or are you focusing more on your music and producing what you're working on now?
Yeah, I have a very small handful. I'm super busy, and I'm back to doing what I like, really feel that I'm here for right now,
Yeah.
which is putting this music out. And so I love all the things, but I can't do all the things. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Absolutely. So, what is to come? What do you have coming into the future? Is there anything you can tell us that isn't, obviously within an NDA or not supposed to talk about? Obviously, we don't want to share those things. But
Yeah.
go ahead.
Um, Well, it's funny because my last interview that I did like this, the fellow asked me that, and that was before I went into like inspirational music, and I just said it's going to be really different, and I was right. It looked totally different. And in the future, I feel like it's also going to be really different because now I'm writing with some great writers, and I have this kind of cool vibe going on, which is always what I love, which is like retro country. I've done a lot of shows with retro country artists,
Mhm.
and I love that older style, but yet make it modern. And so we're writing some real sassy kind of almost Loretta Lynn vibe,
Oh,
yet
wow.
still a little bit of rock in there songs. And so I think I might. There's some that I just love so much. I think I have to record them myself rather than letting them get out to another artist. So I think I'm going to snatch those up and do some of those next.
Oh, wow. Oh, that sounds so fun. I love it. Something that puts a little fire in your belly. Like,
Yeah.
I'll take that stuff to the gym and I'm like, mhm, and I'm just
Yeah.
I'm like lip syncing, and some people put their earbuds in and they're actually singing. It's it's hilarious. But, yeah, wow. So where can we follow you to be able to see the next release, the next drop song?
Yeah. So I'm on all the platforms. Like I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and my website, which is www.jodieleslie.com. And it's IE on both the name Jodie and Leslie. And I have all my shows up there, new pictures, new songs, every digital platform for music. You can purchase or stream my music, with the exception of Spotify. It's not on Spotify yet. But in the future, there will also be a collection of inspirational songs entitled Down Through the Years, which I will be putting up there. And it's a collection of all the inspirational songs through my last several albums, all compiled and amalgamated together, so you don't have to search through all my albums to find that vibe. And so I'm going to be probably uploading that and have that ready for the summer.
Oh, great. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And I have it streaming across the bottom in case anybody's watching and you didn't quite catch everything, especially the www.jodieleslie.com. That is Jodie with an IE, Leslie with an IE .com. And I'm always using Apple Music. I guess it's just the iPhone thing. It's right there, right? So I will make sure that I go onto Apple Music. But everybody watching, you can go onto all your major platforms and find Jodie Leslie. And Jodie, I want to thank you so much for coming onto the show. This has been really fun. You seem like a very genuine, very kind person. And I love your music. I think it's absolutely brilliant that you have two songs, one called Tell God and the other one Give God the Glory. And I think my first thought before listening to them would take me back to church, right? So I'm hearing like a choir. But when you look them up online, Tell God by Jodie Leslie and Give God the Glory by Jodie Leslie, those are two totally different songs, but they're both equally beautiful. So congratulations on that you've done such a beautiful job with them.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I really don't take your words lightly. I really appreciate the feedback and the positive vibes. And thank you for liking music. Thank you for sharing on your platform with all your many listeners. I really appreciate you. And I really appreciate people watching. So thank you.
You're very welcome. I hope that you have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you again soon. When you're ready for the songs to release next, just let me know. I'd love to have you back on the show again.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Elizabeth.
You're welcome. Bye now. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. I did see that the show was not airing live on Facebook, but while we were talking, I got into YouTube and I shared the YouTube over to Facebook on both the Cooper Studios page and Elizabeth Cooper, my timeline, which is usually where the lives are seen. So I hope that everyone saw it, and I will make sure that we post this again just to make sure that after the show, everyone gets to see. All right, everyone, as always, we are blessed. You are blessed. Mwah. I love you. And I will see you again for